Hey, what's going on, beautiful jellyfish? It's Tracy.
And Paul.
I've got Paul here with me because we are doing a deck together, and those are cat hairs. So let me just snag those out of frame. But we are doing this on Paul's Admiral Beckett Brass deck. Paul will give us an overview. What's the deck? What's the theme?
It's pirates. I play pirates. I can steal your things, and I swarm you with pirates that can do weird shenanigans.
Nice. We like it. Yeah, Admiral's really... I will say, this... Paul originally said it still is very flavorful, right? So you're gonna go for flavorful cards rather than maybe like the best possible.
Yeah, everything can be tied to a pirate. There are no rogues, and there are no specific only rogues. Every creature is a pirate, and every card you can make an argument has a pirate theme, other than maybe one or two. But
yeah,
or that could be I just don't have the art for that one, but.
Very cool. Yeah, this deck is really cool, and I will say when Paul does have the 3 pirates, it is very spooky. So, yes.
Not really, but okay. Maybe for you.
Okay, let's do lands first. I guess we'll start with the basics.
Okay, so for basics, currently I have 5 swamps.
If you could just show those real fast, just to prove we have swamps. We're not lying about the amount of base, we promise. Oh, and the deck will be listed in the number below.
Yes.
Just in case
I have 8 islands, and then 5 mountains.
Okay, you've got primarily blue.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so now let's go into the specialty lands, which we're going to just do these in a group together because these are the fetch lands.
That's all 3 fetches for the colors.
Not a ton to say there.
All 3 shocks for the colors.
Yeah, we'll
get to those.
Get to them, yep.
Cabinet Souls. All my creatures are pirates. I don't like having things countered. I think that makes sense. Command Tower, it's Commander. What else are you going to run?
Ewild along with Terramorphic Expanse.
Just mana fixing.
Maze of Ith.
And everybody knows what that does.
It's a great card. Path of Ancestry. I like this card.
Let's make it some scries. Again, that way I can get out of land pockets and stuff a little quicker.
And it adds any color into your pool.
Mm-hmm.
Rogue's Passage. Perfectly on theme, I feel like.
Yep.
Bless you, cat.
Smoldering Marsh. I want to get the other ones. I don't have them currently, but those will probably replace some of the swamps and stuff to balance out the lands.
You also mentioned the Tri-Land as well.
The Tri-Land, or the one that if you have 2 or more opponents.
Yes. Yeah. Which we have one of those, which is a training center.
Yes.
Yep. And then last land we have is Unclaimed Territory.
That's just another basic mini command tower for pirate spells.
Oh, I'm realizing that I missed a pocket of lands. This is a little out of order. I apologize. We have Ash Barrens. Simple.
And then the shocks.
And then the shocks.
As mentioned before.
Sorry, I put those in a random pile and I don't know what happened. Okay. The next thing we'll do, I guess, is what's this? Let's do sorceries.
Okay.
Okay.
Blatant Thievery. I get to steal cards.
This card is ridiculous.
It is a lot of mana, which is a little unfortunate, but I get to steal 1 thing from every opponent, so 7 mana. It's going to be a late game play, but I can steal commanders, I can steal any permanent.
It is any permanent. It's also one of your higher CMC type of things, so yeah.
I can steal a Maze of Ith if I want, it's fun.
Blasphemous Act.
In classic red removal.
We love Blasphemous Act in this house.
Love everything.
We love it. I know, I just said I love a red card. Everybody hold your breath. Chart of Course. This is kind of a deck that you need to be aggressive. It's kind of piratey sailing themed, so, there are better draw spells, but it's pirate themed. There you go. We have a Demonic Tutor.
Okay, probably one of the only cards that isn't pirate themed. But this one has a piratey looking guy on it, so it's close enough.
It does look very piratey. Oh, that's funny. Okay, this card.
Haunting Voyage. I have a lot of creatures that are going to get destroyed. Mm-hmm. I will usually always foretell this because I want to get all of them back, not just 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Another board type we've got is In Garrick's Wake.
Again, not the most thematically pirate, but it's a board wipe.
It's a board wipe.
It's kind of needed.
Speaking of board wipes, we also have Life's Finale.
I pillaged the land, right? That's it's my justification for this one.
Preordain. Classic.
I need scry and draw.
Speaking of draw, we've got Treasure Cruise.
It's a boat. It's a ship. I can steal it.
It totally fits. Totally. So those are the sorceries.
So yeah, that was all the least thematically cards. We're all in that pile. And maybe one more, but...
Now we have enchantments. So we start off with this very stunning Coastal Piracy.
Yes. Piracy.
It.
I'm committing it. And I get to draw cards.
This is a very cool card, and
potentially
it's
lots of cards
on brand for sure.
Oh yeah,
yeah. This is a new edition. Paul just put this in, but Confiscate.
Yeah, I'm gonna steal your permanent. I'm a pirate. That's what I do.
And very similar to that is this card called Corrupted Corrosion?
Corrupted Conscience.
Corrupted Conscience.
It's basically the same thing, except it gives it Infect.
And it's 1 less mana, too, which this card is
which
really
is surprisingly weird.
I actually really enjoy this card, Dead Man's Chest.
Yeah. I get to usually going to be an opponent's creature, but I have enchanted my own before because I know it was going to get killed anyways because, some of my creatures can be dumb. And then I get to cast the non-land cards from them for as long as they remain exiled, so potentially a bigger hand for myself.
And this card also is 2 mana. Things are going to die.
Yep.
It's great. Love me some Kindred Discovery. This card's awesome.
Yeah. It's more Marfolky themed, but there's a sunken ship in it. It counts.
Yeah. I like how you're justifying it. This is very Revelin Riches. I mean, come on. You have to play that.
I'm playing pirates. I make treasures. And I kill things. So, yeah, I feel like that makes sense.
It's a good win condition. This card is really cool. Shared Animosity.
Yeah. I mean, all my creatures are humans or pirates or or they're all pirates.
Yeah.
So they can potentially get quite big.
Yeah, it's a great card. Okay, let's move into the artifacts, and we're going to start off with Coat of Arms.
Piracy Coat of Arms. So yeah,
you need this in foil, but I feel like it's pretty expensive.
Very expensive.
Yeah.
The base, this one is like $50.
Not surprised, yeah. But this card is ridiculous. I will say with this card, you are possibly helping your opponents if they have other things. But the thing is, you have a lot of humans, so other people are going to be playing humans, guaranteed.
Mine
on
are
your board
usually going to be bigger.
Yes.
But I have had it backfire slightly on me before, but it's not often.
Totally.
Yeah.
And of course, we have the pirate theme expedition map, aka the best expedition map art.
Oh yeah,
it's stunning. Great card.
My Altered Sol Ring.
Sol Ring. Yeah. Thematic Compass. This card I really enjoy. This card is, if you can't afford a Mazavith, which I don't know if Mazavith is that expensive these days, but
it's come down. But
if you need a budget alternative, or you want to run both, because why not run both?
This one also taps for mana, where Mazavith does not.
This one does also tap for mana. Now, it's going to take a minute to get this off, so if you're playing CDH, this is not really the card. But if you're playing just Casual Commander, this card's awesome. I really like it. Time Sieve.
I make treasures. I will sack them to
other
take an extra turn.
Too, possibly. There are other artifacts that you could
it's
possibly
mostly going to be treasures.
Yeah.
I've sacked the Thematic Compass to it before and stuff, but yeah, it's mostly treasures.
Then we have Treasure Map.
Again, it's piratey. This makes me treasures, and I get to scry.
There you go. Love Urza's Incubator. This card is so good.
Yeah.
It's also really nice, too, because it helps when Admiral inevitably dies.
Yep.
It costs a little bit cheaper. I
get 1 free commander tax from it, and makes all my other things cheaper. So
this card
does not hurt.
Awesome. I love Urza's Incubator for playing tribal. Another tribal card I would also really recommend is Vanquisher's Banner. It's a good one.
I want to alter this so it has like a pirate flag instead, but
fun. Paul's giving me all the ideas for gifts. We were just talking about his other alters for cards, but yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's somewhat piratey themed, but it could be more. Let's do the instance. Which probably should have done after sorcerers.
Yeah, they were further away in a pile. Brainstorm.
Not the most piratey themed, but Costly Plunder. Sacrifice creature and artifact. Draw 2 cards. I steal people's creatures. I can sack them.
That's true. You know, another cool thing too is if someone, let's just say, is went to exile, path your thing, you can instead sack this, possibly get it back.
That's what I end up doing
later. There you go.
With that.
Psychriff, you know, not a whole lot to say there. Lookouts Dispersal, the one and only counterspell in the deck.
Yes. It's it costs 1 less to cast, so it's a 2 mana counterspell unless they pay 4, so slightly better than a mana leak.
Yeah. And you're gonna have a pirate when you're playing this. Like, you're going to have a pirate.
If I didn't have a pirate, something went very wrong.
And very flavorfully,
the Pirate Opt.
The Pirate Opt specifically.
Yes.
Okay. Well, now we have the best part, in my opinion, which is we always save the best for last here, guys. It's
the
creatures.
Stack of creatures,
35.
Which are a little bit more than a third of the deck.
35 creatures. It's a good number. I like it. First up, we have Angrath's Marauders.
I deal double damage. I don't know what's not to like about that. They have the triple villain that just came out. That's also kind of piratey themed.
That's that enchantment, right?
Yes.
Got it. Are you going to put it in here?
I might.
It's kind of a lot of mana, but I also feel like, too, your curve is pretty low. If I look at the tapped out
it's like
really
1.8 or
something.
something.
You've got the most at 2, actually.
Or 2.3 or
2,
something.
3, 4, and 5 are where the bulk of your
if you scroll down a little
you
bit,
know?
you can actually see what the actual curve is. Keep going. 3.5.
Yeah, that's really not that bad, so...
Not for casual EDH.
Okay, then we have, let's see.
The Azure Fleet Admiral. I become the Monarch and can't be blocked by creatures the Monarch controls, so I can always steal the Monarch.
Very nice. Breaches.
Menace. I get cards from other people's libraries. I mean, what's not to like?
Yeah, it's a great card. Captain Lannery Storm. So good.
I make treasures. I can sack it to make it bigger.
And when they attack, you just get that treasure,
Yep.
which is so good. And
It's
this
not
card,
even it has to deal damage. It's on attack, which is what makes it so much better.
There you go. I like it. Then we have Captain Vargas Wrath.
I thought it was Vargas.
Vargas. I'm really bad at pronouncing things, guys.
Pirates get control, get +1/+1 until end of turn for each time I've cast my commander this game. From the command zone only. But Admiral will get killed usually 2 or 3 times in a game, so all my pirates get +3/+3. So it's not insignificant.
Yep. Captivating Crew. Such a good card.
I steal your big creature and smack you with it, is what that says.
You know, another thing I'd like to is, let's just say you have nothing to do with your mana. You can just dump possibly 8 mana into this, and you can gain control of 2 things. You've got that sacrifice thing, or you're just going to punch somebody hard.
Or I punch them and then make sacrifice it. Even better.
There you go. Even better. Okay. We have Coastline Marauders. It gets +1/+1 for each land defending player controls.
It gets big.
Wow.
And it has trample.
You know, also, to the Encore mechanic, I would not, roll your eyes at the Encore mechanic, because I've actually seen the Encore do quite a bit of stuff.
Yeah, and so late game,
cards,
it gets killed early. Okay, I did 3 or 4 damage, but at the end of the game, there's still 3 people. You're going to have potentially 10 lands. It's a 10-3 for 6 mana that's swinging at 3 people.
Not bad. Also, too, this deck tempos really well. And it's got trample, which just makes it a little bit irritating, which we love.
If it didn't have trample, I don't think I would have had it in the deck.
Then we have Coercive Recruiter.
So when this or another pirate enters the battlefield under my control, I get to take somebody else's creature, untap it, and it becomes a pirate. So it triggers off of Admiral. Anything else when pirates get damage or whenever a pirate attacks, it gets all those triggers.
It's a great card.
Oh yeah,
a lot of stealing. Even makes sense. This card I don't actually believe comes in foil, and I actually got you this.
Not.
I want to say maybe for Christmas or so, but this is a really good card.
It's a very simple one. Just when it enters, make a treasure token and an anthem for pirates.
There's not a whole lot to say, but cards like this are really cool.
Oh yeah.
This is one of Paul's favorite cards, and I can't figure out for the life of me why.
Crafty Cutpurse. Flash it in for defense, and some people like to make lots of tokens. Hey, now I get all the tokens instead. Also, note that doesn't specify creature tokens. It's any kind of token. So somebody's going to make a bunch of treasures. Nope. Bunch of clues. Nope.
Nice.
I get all of them.
It's very
it's
funny.
Cool.
We have Deadeye Brawler. This is a good card. I like it.
Yeah, it's
multi-purpose, you know?
Death Touch is great for blocking. It's a bigger toughness than it is power, so it will typically stay around a little bit more likely. And it's more than 3 toughness, so it gets around a lot of those kind of removals.
Yep.
And when it does damage to a player, I get to draw a card. Yeah. Which I will typically have ascended around turn 5, 6. You know, because that's a land and a card every turn.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
yeah, I like it. Then we have Deadeye Plunders.
It's just big and makes treasures.
It makes those treasures a little bit on the cost side, but again, this deck tempos really well, where if you've just got an extra little bit of mana laying around, you can just spend it into making a treasure, you know what I mean? Deadeye Tracker.
It's just a 1-drop. I can remove things from somebody's graveyard, which can be more useful, especially graveyard decks. That's more the reason why I keep this in, is just to deal with graveyard decks. And it's not the best pirate
honestly,
otherwise.
I also think, too, a lot of people, it's really nice if someone can target them, and then you can say in response to the Deadeye Tracker, which is really cool. And I think having a little bit of graveyard hate is also
always a good
only
thing. 2 mana to do the ability. It's a 1-mana creature.
And you get to explore.
The Explorer is really not that important.
Okay. Then we have Dire Fleet Captain.
It gets big when I attack with lots of pirates. I wish it had trample. It would be really great.
Yeah.
It doesn't, but it's a 2/2 for 2, or well, it swings for more than 2. It never swings for 2. But yeah, it's okay. This is kind of on the chopping block if I get a better pirate.
Yeah, I think the thing about this is we're probably not gonna take out a lot of other, like, you're gonna want a pirate for a pirate, kind of around this point. Yeah. Okay, we've got
this is my
Ravager.
favorite card because it is just
card.
silly.
It is.
It's when it enters the battlefield, each player loses a third of their life. Rounded up.
And it's got Menace and Death Touch after. Yeah. Like, it's so good.
I did just take out a card that let me blink it, which was really funny because then you could do it twice.
Yeah.
But having that blink card just to do that, it was kind of silly. Yeah. And so I ended up taking it out for probably the Treasure Cruise or something. But this is just a fun pirate.
It is. I like it. I love Dire Fleet Ravager. It's fun. Speaking of really good pirates, Dockside.
Honestly, I don't think it's as great as everybody says because it's only as good as your play group.
Yeah, and I think too, I mean, in our play group, we play with a lot of
fast
that.
mana.
I think, to be honest, I think this card is worth $60. I just think that's really expensive for it, you know?
Yeah, because this only scales off your opponent's playing artifacts and enchantments, which typically is they're playing mana rocks and stuff like that. And so this punishes them for doing that. But if they don't do that, they're only playing with basic lands or stuff like that, then it's actually really weak.
Yeah, and I think one thing too that I feel like on my channel, you know, is I talk about budget cards, I talk about expensive cards, I talk about magic cards of all different price varieties, and I feel like it's always important, like, even having, like, some amount of influence possibly, because I've had people be like, oh, I love this card, I discovered this card because you, like, I never want to talk about a card and be like, this card is amazing, when I don't actually mean that. I just think Dockside is a little bit overrated, in my opinion. I think it is exceptional, and if I owned one, I would be really happy, but I don't think it's worth $60. I don't think you need to run out and buy it unless you're playing CDH.
Yep. Or you have a group that plays lots of fast mana, which is typically more CDH-y.
Sorry, I had to open the blinds for Leia so she can stare out the window. Okay, we have Fathom Fleet Captain.
This lets me make pirates.
Cool. I like this card.
Yeah, it's Menace, so it will typically get through.
Yep.
Because nobody really wants to spend 2 blockers to block 2 damage. Mm-hmm. And then I can make more 2/2 pirates with Menace, so it gets, it helps.
Probably one of the best pirates is the Forerunner of the Coalition.
Tutor for a pirate, and every time a pirate enters, each opponent loses a life, drain, and I get whatever pirate I want.
Card is great. Hostage Taker!
It's another Ice Steel thing.
Yep. Yeah. Not a whole lot to say. Oh, what a cutesy little pirate. We got Karizev and her pirate monkey.
It's not a pirate monkey. It's just a red monkey, which is the most disappointing part of this card.
It is disappointing.
Is that the monkey doesn't count as a pirate.
You know, I just thought about this now from this card is, don't you want to own Ragavan?
I don't think Ragavan's a pirate.
Really? Okay, we'll have to look this up after this video.
I want Ragavan for treasures, I think.
Got it.
Not for pirate deck, because Ragavan is not a pirate. I think it's just a monkey.
Well, we're gonna have to look this up after the video because I'm curious. But I do like Karizev, and one thing too, if you could actually flip Karizev back over here, one thing I really like about Karizev is that people don't really want to block it. Like, it's got that first strike, which is irritating, and the menace, and then it makes the monkey, and no one wants to block the monkey because it's gonna make it. It's just kind of like an irritating card to deal with, and I think that's great. Kite Sail Freebooter. Who remembers when this card was in
Modern?
Was it Modern or Standard, or maybe both? When everybody loved Kite Sail Freebooter.
It was heavily played in Modern Humans. For
Modern Humans, that's what it is.
Time.
This card's great.
It's silly. I get to, steal a card, and it's got flying, so there's not a lot of pirates with flying, which is honestly why it's here more than anything.
But you get access to information. You get to know what's going on in their opponent's hand. Yeah. Lightning Rig Crew. This card, let me just say, gets in the damage.
Sometimes this goes off like nobody's business because I can end up drawing a lot of cards and playing a pirate, then just keep on tapping and doing a ton of damage because it's to each opponent.
Yes.
And then there's times where it does like 2 damage in a game and it gets really sad.
Yeah, and then it's also an 0/5. It's a nice blocker. You can block and then ping. It's cool stuff you can do with it. Oh my gosh, we got Malcolm. Oh, Malcolm's so good. Malcolm's like one of the best pirates.
Definitely the best flying pirate, that's for sure.
Good.
I think he makes a better partner commander than he does as a one-off in a deck. But he is very good. I get to make treasures, and
This card is incredible. I mean, you're one of your best generators of tokens for sure. This card is insane.
I don't know why this card was allowed to be printed.
I feel like they made a mistake when they honestly did this.
As an uncommon. This should at least be a rare, and it should probably be a 2/2. But whenever this
or another pirate. Yes. I think that's the big thing that we need to note here. It doesn't untap as long as you control them. This isn't it untaps during their next turn. No, it is until you control it.
It's not legendary, which means I can make copies of this, so every time a pirate enters, I would tap 2 things.
What do you have that makes copies?
We'll get to one later.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize. Yeah. Okay. I was like, okay. Yeah.
I have a pirate that enters as a copy of anything.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Pitless Plunderer. Whenever the creature dies, I make the treasure. Or another creature I control dies. My pirates will get killed. It happens. They attack, they die sometimes. Yep. You gotta be a little risky.
Yeah.
And so I need my treasures.
Great.
Yep.
Lot of treasure tokens. A lot of treasures. We got Port Raiser.
Extra combats if it doesn't get blocked. And it kind of forces people to block it. And it's a 4/4.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
We should have a little bit of evasion,
Yeah, but that's when I have, Coastal Piracy, Rogue's Passage.
That's true.
And stuff like that so I can easily get 2 combats with it. It's just fun.
Okay, we mentioned this is the card that you were talking about. Yes. Okay, got it.
So if I attack with a creature, I may have it as a copy of any creature on the battlefield.
This is a really good shapeshifter. There are a ton of these. Enters the battlefield, but this one's 3 mana. Now you have to attack, but that's like so easy.
But that's what pirates do. Pirates are aggressive, and you have to be aggressive with them.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is a really good copy. Then we have Ramirez.
I lose 2 life. Who cares? I get 2 treasure tokens, though. Yep. And then when one or more pirates you control deal combat damage to a player, exile that card, and I may cast it.
That is really
I just steal more things.
You know what I'm realizing, though, is can you do it with any mana, or no?
I get treasures. I have treasures.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. You get the treasures. Okay, that's fine. One thing I'm also realizing, do we talk about Chromatic Lantern?
There is not one in this deck.
Did we not have an extra one, or do you just not want to run?
I don't think it needs it.
Okay, that's interesting. Cool. We've got
Rishadan Cutpurse.
Cutpurse?
It's an old pirate.
It's very old.
From Arcadian Masks.
I don't even remember I don't even remember where we acquired this.
You got me this probably a decade ago.
A very long time ago, and I think it was just because it was a pirate. Like, I didn't anticipate. I don't think of it. Like, you didn't have a pirate deck,
We were
whatever.
playing Kitchen Table 60 at the time.
Oh, wow. Cute.
It's really not that great. It's a 1/1 for 3, and each opponent sacrifices a permanent unless they pay 1.
Listen, early game. And you know what, too? Even if people are tapping out, you're forcing someone to tap mana in a way. Yep. It's not the best card ever, but it's cute.
It can definitely do weird things.
It's cute. Rowdy Crew.
I don't think I've ever gotten to put the counters on Rowdy Crew. But it's still for trample 3/3.
How do you feel about the discarding cards at random?
Usually I don't have a large hand by that point when I'm casting this.
Okay.
Just because I don't think I've ever drawn this early game.
Fair.
Which is also why I don't think I've ever gotten the 2 counters on it.
Got it. Yeah.
Because it usually always ends up being a land and something
else.
Yeah,
because you can't really control that, yeah.
Yeah, I wish it wasn't at random. I wish it was chosen by the opponent.
Yeah, that's fair.
But, yeah.
Slippery Scoundrel.
It's unblockable and hexproof.
You're going to have the City's Blessing. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Maybe not when I first play, but very shortly thereafter. And unblockable pirates are the best pirates because they, get free triggers for Admiral.
Speaking of unblockable pirates, Stormfleet Sprinter.
Hasty and unblockable, even better.
There you go. Not a whole lot to say. We have Time Stream Navigator. So good, so good, so good.
Oh, yeah. I get to take an extra turn. It dies a lot as soon as it enters, though.
Yeah. It's understandably vulnerable.
Why.
It's a little vulnerable, but, it is what it is. All right. We have Warkite Marauder.
Flying. Another good pirate. And something becomes a 0/1 until end of turn.
And it loses all abilities. So you just make something a 0/1. This gets around so many things. Yeah. I love it.
Oh, that thing you have with Reach? Cool, it doesn't have Reach now. Oh, that thing with Death Touch doesn't have Death Touch now.
Really good. Okay, and the last card in the deck is Zara, Renegade Recruiter.
I get to look at your hand, put a creature card from it onto the battalefield, it tapped and attacking you. It's great. I just steal your things and smack you with it. It doesn't become a pirate, which is the only disappointing, but it comes in tapped and attacking, so I don't think it really matters, because it wouldn't trigger up a lot of those
agree.
things.
So many steal things. I mean, that's what pirates do, so it makes sense. I like it. But yeah, guys, that is it for Admiral Beckett Brass. Fun deck. I will say, too, Paul's also made this deck a lot more competitive. I don't think it's intended to be your most powerful deck, which is totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I think having different decks at different power levels is incredible.
Yeah, it's fun. It will swing above its weight class sometimes, because again, I'm stealing other powerful things, so I can get away with being a little bit less powerful sometimes.
You probably have about, including Admiral, probably about 10 things that steal. Probably roughly around 8 or 10 cards that steal things. That's a solid chunk of things.
That steals permanently too, not just steals for
Admiral.
turning smack.
Yes, Admiral steals permanently, but then a card that we just talked about, for example, is only, you got to give it back, but still, Well, yeah, that was everything for this deck. Like I said, it will be listed in the down bar below, so you can check it out and see costs of stuff, all that kind of things. I think one thing Paul said is you didn't do foils, or
some of them are. Some of them, but not all of them. Or some of the sets are wrong.
Yeah. That's kind of a little bit tricky too, because I know, for example, one of the things is the what is that enchantment? The Coastal Piracy, for example, that's a really expensive card foil. Like, for example, when I think you can probably buy that card for like $4 or whatever. But anyways, that's it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.